It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
Good morning. It's me, Felix, unfortunately. I am putting gas in the car. I just took the baby to school. We've decided I'm doing a day in the life because Morgan's editing the cabin vlog today. And it's Tuesday, which means that we just need to get another video out. And I was like, maybe I'll go to the bins because I've been thinking about getting some more toddler clothes. Because right now, all the toddler clothes that I have are off season. Like, they're very, like, summery, which is great for the spring swap that's coming up. But when people are asking me right now for toddler clothes, I'm not having a lot of good options for them. And also, we recently got paid. And also, I don't know, like, when I get stressed out, I want to shop. I think a lot of people have that impulse. It's like, I want to, like, hoard resources, sort of like a benevolent squirrel. But you know, I don't like go to Target and get like some weird crap that's gonna get thrown away in a landfill anymore. Now I go to the bins, I get used things, and I distribute them to the orgs that we work with, or to other people who I know and love who also need resources. So, and I really don't feel bad shopping at bins for that purpose because yeah, it's just I'm buying them to then give them to someone for free. So Morgan's looking for bed sheets. I'm looking for toddler clothes specifically because we get so few toddler clothes at the swaps. Because toddlers, they just like, they wear those clothes, they run through them, they get them crazy. That's pretty much it. Probably also like beanies and gloves for folks for Soup Squad is the other thought that I was having. I have like a little box in my car that I put like the soft like Nutri-Grain style granola bars and hand warmers in to like hand out to folks who I see as I drive past. And I kind of want like a container that I can like have that's like a hard container. And then also we're going to the Wheeler Dealer, which has cheap food. So my very small tank is full, so give me a moment. $23 for my tank, kind of a sleigh. It's a small tank, but whatever. Anyway, the most important thing is that the reason I'm going out into the world today is to go to the Creative Memory, the Paint Your Own Ceramics place, and pick up our stuff. And I cannot forget to do that, and I really feel like I might forget. So I'm trying to keep that at the forefront of my mind. But they don't open till 10, and it's like 9:20 right now. So anyway, I'm going to first head to the P.O. Box, because it's good to check it, and then the Wheeler Dealer, and we'll see where we go from there. But I'm running around. We're having a running around today. Welcome to running around time. P.O. Box stuff. Thanks, team. I was not expecting P.O. Box stuff. I mean, I guess maybe I was because I went, but anyway, thank you. Got my cute little Mazapan oat milk latte from the Chubby Bean. There has possibly never been a more crucial moment to support immigrant and Latino-owned businesses in your community. So go get a really tasty coffee or whatever else. Headed into the bins with no gloves because it was kind of a last-minute decision. I am strong and brave. I would say incredibly successful bins trip. I primarily, like the heavy things that I got are a bunch of sweatshirts and sweaters for Soup Squad. I was also able to get a big pack of adult diapers for them, which is really great. I think there's technically a difference between like adult diapers and disposable underwear. It's just, it's good for folks to have. It's good for them to have throwaway underwear. That's good. Anyway, but I got adult diapers, which is great. Currently our toddler has 3 stuffed animals, like snuggle creatures that he is demanding be snuggled down with him. So I got this bunk bed for the girls. I thought maybe we could try to minimize the stuffed animals in his bed, which technically is fine. It's not like unsafe sleep anymore now that he's a little bit older and like has a lot of neck control and whatever, but it's just kind of like unwieldy to put him into his crib, and I thought he might be excited to like put them down in their bed. So this is like a cool vintage thing. The only other thing I got for him, you'll see all the stuff, but primarily Soup Squad stuff and then some kids clothes, which is great, and then a couple of weird things for my baby. I got him a big wheel, Paw Patrol style. I think I might be able to rip off the stickers and make it cunty. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to get too crazy. I remembered the Creative Memory. I create a remembered read. Ah, yes, in her helper uniform.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Redo.
She's helping.
Call. You need some help, little lady.
Okay. All
right, I'm excited for the haul.
This for the baby's many, the girls.
Yeah, his girls.
For his girls.
Picture.
This for Soup Squad. I already talked about that. This really sick big wheel situation that I think we're going to try to peel all the stickers off of and make Bear in the Big Blue House themed. But first I'm going to have the baby test it out, make sure that it's a good size for him. The balance bike, literally never has a balance bike worked for him.
Yeah, we've tried a couple.
I think he's too tall to have had the like right coordination at the age. And now he's kind of like sort of outgrown the concept and is way too tall. So anyway, this is just an insane, I keep finding children's backpacks that are this size. So that way you just have like a bin of them at the next swap.
Yeah.
These two things.
Yeah, you don't have enough hoops.
Hey, I'm trying to make sure other people can have tubes. This I got for you to use for something.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to.
No, I like it.
I thought it was kind of fun. This kid's backpack, one, super cute.
Yeah, is it reversible?
No.
Oh, okay.
You open it up and you can play tic-tac-toe.
Oh.
Isn't that fun?
Kids backpack, more like mommy and daddy backpack.
This is a present for the baby in the future, but more from mommy. It's blue.
It is blue, obviously.
It's blue from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, whomst we love.
This is an upstairs, downstairs Albertsons basket. What we need is literally exactly this.
Yeah.
It's like a basket that can be carried up and downstairs. Because we just end up with stuff there. A lot of kids' clothes things,
Yeah, Felix, I'm showing this on the ground. Felix has been getting ready for the next kids' clothing swap, which isn't till March.
Fabric for mommy.
Fabric for mommy. Hold on.
Can you tell what she is?
Fabric for mommy. Holly Hobby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't she fun?
Yeah. Are you gonna wash? You're not gonna wash it?
It definitely should be washed, but I just thought I would hand it to you.
Oh, you wanna zoom in?
You don't have to. Kids clothes. Basically anything that was like 2 tier above I grabbed, and anything that was smaller than that but was like a zip up thing. This is a really dope jacket.
Yeah.
A lot of swimsuit, kids clothes for all the swimsuits. Anything that was also, so this is Hannah Anderson, obviously, which I now can tell by vibe and by feel of fabric, because I was like, that's so weird. I thought this was Hannah Anderson. It is. It absolutely is. Yeah, like this is Brandy Melville for some reason.
Oh. If you wanted to put your duck on that sweater, that would also be really cute.
No, that's true. This is a kid's jacket that I thought maybe our internet friend Jenna Bikes might like. Oh, I got a couple of these insane Hanes tank tops for me.
Okay.
Thank you. There's 2 of them. This, I didn't know if you wanted to either use for fabric or I was going to try to see if it would fit me as pants. I think they're homemade by someone.
I think they're cute. I think you should try them on first.
I'm certainly going to try them on first. Oh my god. This is a kid's shirt.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And like somebody embroidered it so sweetly. I don't know what all the little things are for, but I just thought it was really precious. I couldn't leave without that. Like,
yeah.
The little, like,
no, that's a need.
That's so cute. Soup Squad, kids clothes, Soup Squad. Did I lose my? Oh, no. Oh, bin. We always need more tubs. And then I got you Butch fabric. Butch fabric.
Butch. For men.
Butch for men and boys. And then this is actually really dope.
Yo.
You see how scary the penguin is? And then there's like abs Batman on it.
Do we know anyone who likes Batman?
And then also Catwoman.
Hello.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that's really fun.
Anyway, yeah, this is just like a really sick quilt, but I thought Mimi might want it to make into something strange.
I was going to say maybe for Nick.
Yes. Oh, yes, here's another one of these Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, whatever. Tank toppy. Oh, and then this I got maybe for Hannah. It is Vanity Fair size 14. It's like a vintage.
Ooh, like a little house coat.
I guess, but isn't it? It's really pretty.
Oh,
I figured
it's
worst
fun.
case we could use it for really pretty fabric.
Yeah. I'd probably take it to the swap first, but
I think that no, it's not actually. It's like a vintage 14, so it's like a size like. 3,
no, that's making
maybe.
sense.
Oh, sweatshirt says Zoom Zoom.
Hey.
Anyway, yeah, really successful haul. A lot of cool stuff today at the bins.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot. Again, most of it is not going to stay at our house. This will be up in storage. That I'm going to try to make mattresses.
Oh, cute. Well, we've got the foam downstairs.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
Although I guess they're not real babies, so they probably don't need nice foam.
Yeah,
We should probably save the nice foam for real babies.
Yes, but anyway.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, anytime Felix goes to the bins, I'm sure you already said this, I guess.
What?
You're just like always looking for stuff for things like the swaps or
Yeah.
Soup Squad to help out the unhoused folks because it's like the best bang for your buck.
Yes. Well, yeah, this was $70.
So you might as well spend an extra $20 to help some other people. You know?
$76.
Whoa.
Which is the most I've spent at the bins in a minute. But it was a lot of heavy winter wear, so
That's true.
I have to go to the bathroom so bad. Cute. Okay, I've had a milkshake, so now I'm less evil. A smoothie, you know what I mean. Creative Memory Haul. Went to the Creative Memory with my mom for her birthday. This was made by Uncle Nick.
What was his vision? Do you know?
Duck.
I love it. Looks just like duck.
It's looking like duck. Yeah, I think he's gonna put it on his desk duck. Bo made a, I don't know what it's for. It's silent night.
It's a little trinket dish, though.
It is. No, it is. But it's night hill of the night hill.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Hollow Night?
Hollow. No.
Okay, then I don't know. Silent Hill?
No.
Okay.
But now I'm realizing that's what I'm confusing it with. Is it Hollow Night?
That's the guy with the bug.
I
People
think
like
it is the bug. I don't know. I'm not young. Can you tell what Mimi's is?
A mushroom?
It's a mushroom and it's a paint. You put the paint in.
Oh.
And she was like, I think this is going to be actually maybe really stupid. Because like these are so small. And I was like, no, I think this would encourage me
I was
to only
wondering
use...
why they were big.
Oh, yes. I was like, I think these are a good size because it would encourage me to only use a little bit of acrylic paint. Because you really
That's
don't
smart.
need that much. So
Yeah.
I was like, so probably actually it's good. And then the one made by me.
Which is great.
I worked with them.
Oh, it's huge. I didn't know you made big one.
Big. Yes.
Yeah, the baby's gonna love it, and he won't be able to touch it.
No, I said I was doing little dots, and I said, oh, I'm doing pointillism. And Mimi was like, I've never heard that word before. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I thought the dots... I'm curious on the dots.
In what way?
Why did you do them?
I thought they were fun.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were supposed to be standing in front of something specific. I just didn't recognize.
No, I just thought it was like... No, I just thought
Silly.
You know, I was inspired by those, you know, when you look at something that's supposed to be 3D,
Okay.
and you put on 3D glasses.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
It's got,
yes.
like, I just thought the dots were fun.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like comic booky.
Yeah, no, I see that.
That was what I was
I
trying
think that makes sense.
I'm gonna put some felt on the back of it, which is kind of funny because it says
Film.
film 2026. But yeah, I feel like you turned out great.
He turned out so great.
Also,
Yeah, I want to go to Creative Memory soon.
I accidentally dribbled really bad right here on the O.
So it says become.
No, so I just added additional dribbles, so it seemed like that's how hard of a time, that's how ungovernable I am, is that I've invented a new font.
That's smart.
Thank you.
He's
I thought
creative.
it'd be part of the style.
He let this piece speak to
I
him.
really did. Now you have to film me vertical ways so that I can make a video.
All right.
Sorry about my dishwasher running. I think that it might be worth it because you guys are going to see this is my paint palette that I've been using for a long time. I don't even know how long. It is from the Olive Garden, and I haven't eaten at the Olive Garden, I think in like a year. Maybe almost a year. It was probably for Bo's birthday. Anyway, I've been using it, sustainability hack. I've been using this plastic thing as a paint palette for a long time. So now I'm gonna peel it off. I thought you might like that. Oh my God. This is the back and the front. Whoa. I guess there's nothing I can do with these, right? Like not safely. They're probably mostly acrylic. Whoa. That's so fun. Probably not safely. I gotta get all the pieces of this. That way my baby doesn't eat it. How important is it that I get this scraped all the way? I think is the other question. Whoa. Can you even see this? That's so fun. I love a peel. It's like an evil face mask. Grimy. Okay, that's probably like basically fine. Yeah. Okay, I think that's fine. Yay. Okay, and then I have my evil paints section and this paintbrush that I think I got at the bin. So I have to rinse it out and make sure it doesn't have a bunch of weird shit in it. But we have unhinged paint. Some of them are normal house paints that we've used in our home. Most of them are weird thrifted paints. So let's pick some colors. Here's what we're working with. I had taped out roughly where I wanted the frames to be for the baby's art to go. Sorry, this is his little like art gallery wall. Let me show you. Oh my God, I'm gonna change the angle of this. I cannot express to you how horrible all of our phone stands are. I don't know what it is. I think it's because most of them are like the bendy kind. It's just awful. So anyway, they've gotten so much worse. So sorry. Sorry this is so bad. I'm sure I look unhinged. This is the baby's door to his room. I don't know. This is a carbon monoxide filter checker alarm. And then what I've done here is I taped roughly where I wanted the frames to be. Because of the distance between the frames, I ended up like this one, literally where the tape is going to be the frame. And then these other ones, the tape is the beginning of the inside of the frame. So the frame, does that make sense? So the frame is on the outside of this tape for these ones. But for this one, it is what it is. So I just wanted to show you that I had that. These are just like, I mean, this isn't really free-handed because I just drew the tape. But this one and this one are like mostly free-handed. It's gonna have children's art in it. So I'm not super concerned about it looking overly professional. I would like, with the fun colors that I have, to do like frame color and then inside the frame, a sort of like more neutralish, plainish something. I don't like this beige. I wish I had white. I don't think I have any white paint anywhere. But we'll see. So that will probably be last. But right now, I'm just gonna get some paint on. I'm gonna put the drop cloth down that we have used. I can't even tell you. So we've gotten a lot of use out of this drop cloth. We've had it for a few years. It's gone through a couple murals with us, and typically what I end up having to do is flip it over. I'm sure it was like $30 or whatever when we first bought it, and I was like, God, that's so much. But you know, at this point, it really has, yeah, gotten our money's worth out of it, and we'll continue to use it. I have my paint thingy. I'm gonna use it this orientation this time. I don't know why I did it on top. I guess because it was like acrylic paint mostly, and this is like house paint. The opposite wall of this is the mural that our incredible friend Lemon did with his husband Nick, and it's amazing. So I'm trying to pick some colors that sort of like complement the fun orangey, but I mostly have picked kind of obnoxious colors. I'm really emotionally attached to this like insane turquoisey one. And then this is a yellow that is specifically in the mural. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, this orange is also in the mural. It's like the dark orange. Did I just get paint on my face? Only on my face, nowhere else? Girl, where are you dripping from, girl? Oh my so God. Which is reminding me I'm gonna put on a different outfit. And then these two are other crazy ones we got from, I think, Scrap PDX. Okay, let me put on some clothes to get paint on. Okay, I'm really liking how these are looking so far. These bottom two definitely need to be thicker, which I assumed would be the case. I'm just gonna do, I don't know, a little bit on the inside. They don't need to be real super professional looking, you know, like it's gonna be fun and silly. But yes, I think they both need, I don't know, maybe like a ½ inch on the inner part. I don't think they need to be as thick as this one, but I like the way that they're all going with just our first round here.
He's going in for the detail work.
Sorry, can you do it vertical is what I meant.
Okay, so you don't want to do your job.
I'm doing 2 jobs. I'm doing 3 jobs. Okay, close-up shot of the frames. Cutesy. This one's my favorite for sure. This one's second favorite. Morgan said this one's giving SpongeBob, and she's right actually, and you know, I like that about it. Okay, now, here's what's happening. There are only so many days that Helping Hands is open. I've never been. I keep meaning to go. It's a free store. You can get a card there and then shop for 30 minutes a week. It is like needs based. I don't think that they I mean, I'm on WIC and Oregon Health Plan, so theoretically I think I qualify anyway. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using resources that are there for you, but it's not a resource that I currently need right now. I'm certain at some point in my life, particularly under this administration, that I will. But right now, because there are so many folks who are unable to leave their homes, I am gonna do some kids' clothes shopping for our immigrant communities, and then wash those, organize them, and then deliver them to mano a mano. So, and I'm excited to get the details because I haven't been to Helping Hands before. So we'll see how that goes. They are open on Thursdays. And then I have 11 jackets and 2 hats that were all obtained from either like friends that I have or at the bins that are going to my friend Holly, who runs Soup Squad. So those will be making a move, and then also the disposable underwear diaper things. Huge fan of the Helping Hands. That was incredible. I went, they were so kind. It is a needs-based free store, very much so. I know that there are a lot of free stores in other places that are not intended to be needs-based. They're just like from a sustainability, obviously it's like if you need something, come get it, but it's like it's kind of intended to be anyone can come in. This is definitely needs-based. You give them your ID and they give you a little card, and you can shop for 30 minutes once a week, and you can't come back. Like the earliest you can come back is the next week, basically. Their children's clothing section was incredibly picked over, which leads me to believe that like there is a need there. So I think next time I come, I'm gonna bring a bunch of little like quarter sheets about the kids' clothing swap and hope that they'll give them out. I did get to talk to somebody who is a volunteer there, who must be a volunteer coordinator, but about maybe tabling at the kids' clothing swap, because I think that more people should be aware of Helping Hands as a location to volunteer and give items to, as well as get stuff from. And I think that you get people who can do all of those kinds of things who come to a clothing swap on a pretty regular basis. I picked up a few things. They told me I could get 2 bags because it was my first time coming. Yeah, you're supposed to only 30 minutes or until you fill up your grocery bag that they like give you. And I didn't fill up a whole bag, but they gave me 2 because it was my first time coming, and I just ended up putting my other bag back because I was like, I'm not trying to like clear out their clothing, like that's not cool. So yeah, what I ended up grabbing was just like a couple. I made sure that if I was taking something, there was something else there that would work, right? So if I'm getting like 6-month girls pants, there are other 6-month girl pants, right? So I just grabbed like a couple so that I can get those to mano a mano. And then they had a book section that looked like nobody had touched it in a hot minute, children's books specifically, and so I grabbed some of the Spanish options that they had to give to mano a mano as well. They looked like really cute books. And then actually for my baby, they had a VHS of Zoe. It was like Zoe, from Sesame Street dancing, and it's like featuring Paula Abdul. He's gonna be obsessed with that. It's 40 minutes. I'm really excited, but I didn't feel bad taking it because it's incredibly silly and not a lot of people have VHS players. So anyway, and again, like if I like needed a heavy coat and was in a place where I couldn't afford a heavy coat, I would happily go. I don't think there's anything wrong with using your resources. You absolutely should. We're in an okay spot where I didn't need to, but I did grab us a very silly little VHS, and I'm really excited about it. So, oh my god! And now I'm at the UGM thrift store. It's the Union Gospel Mission. I'm on this side of town because this is the general vicinity where I have to drop off stuff. If my friend Holly texts me back, which she hasn't yet, but she's busy. She's like a college instructor, so she's got a lot going on. The UGM. Union Gospel Mission thrift store here in Salem. Really great. Oh, that was the other thing about the Helping Hands. Super well organized, incredibly clean. They had like 6 volunteers there while I was there. I don't know if they're actually gonna table because they were like, it just depends if we can get the volunteers. And I was like, no, that's so fair. But yeah, they were really lovely. Anyway, UGM is maybe the cleanest thrift store I've ever been to in my entire life. It is beautiful, and they have all kinds of super weird shit there, and it's all priced very reasonably. It's like kid's shirt with a stain on it that is $1, as opposed to if you were to try and get that at Goodwill, it would be like $6, which is crazy. So, and I have a little bit of cash, so I don't know, I'm just gonna see what they've got because sometimes they have fun things. Yeah, let's go. $5. That's insane for $5. That's so cute. I think I'm just always gonna be like most chaotic day in the life award. It didn't even stay as a day in the life for the whole day. It became like a week in the life turns into just kind of like the fun creative stuff Felix is up to. Hey. Okay, so to recap, sorry, I'm really like thrown off. I made the mistake of accidentally looking at our Reddit, and I really like Reddit. It's not even our Reddit, it was like r/TikTok. I really like Reddit. I feel like it's generally a very good, very positive place, but if you have ever created content in your life and you end up finding something that someone else has written about you, it's always so evisceratingly mean. And it's not even like the person, like they're not even commenting it, right? So they never intended for you to read it necessarily, or anyway, it doesn't matter. I saw something where someone was like, the goofs are like post so inconsistently on Patreon and I'm just sick of it. And then somebody commented, Felix has been visibly pregnant for months. So I think that's why. I just want to be really explicitly clear and say I'm just fat. That's actually not even the part that hurt my feelings. And also it doesn't matter. It's whatever. One, I just want to say, if you don't want to be on our Patreon, please you can get note. You don't have to be on the Patreon. It's totally fine. If you do want to be on the Patreon, we did recently kind of like change it to where folks get to watch these, like our YouTube videos. We upload those with the captions and with no ads, so you can watch them ad-free on Patreon. That one is like a slightly higher like money. I want to say it's like $8, I think. And it really, I think the thing with us being parents and also doing a lot of stuff in our real life community and also making all kinds of things, it's sometimes they're a little bit, they're, you know, like the YouTube video, like luckily we were able to do 2 this week. We hope to do 2 videos basically every week unless we're on vacation. That is the dream, and I think we always have high expectations of ourselves, and then they don't always happen because other things have to come first. And I think another thing is, particularly with content creators, like we're really not sharing everything that's going on in our lives. We share a lot of it, like a lot. But yeah, so you know, sometimes there's other stuff going on, and that's part of it. Here's what I've been up to this week that I didn't end up being able to film. Some of it I did film a little bit of. I went to a Stop the Bleed training at my local fire station. It was incredibly cool. I could not highly recommend a Stop the Bleed training enough. It's, I think, started or put on by the American whatever Association of Surgeons. And it was just, I would say, very simple. Like, I went into it queasy and concerned and like, I'm not going to be able to do this. It's about putting pressure on a wound and packing a wound, doing a tourniquet. So the idea is like, it's to prevent, it's like something like if someone is experiencing life-threatening bleeding, it can, within like 3 minutes, they could be dead. And so this is to extend that time while help is on the way. So it's like, first thing, call 911, assess the wound, figure out where it is, if you need to pack it, if it's possible to do a tourniquet, if all you can do is put pressure on it. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And it sounds kind of simple, but I think it was just really cool to be able to use their like in person. They had like a thing with a wound for you to like pack. There's like weird silicone sort of like hot dog shaped thing to like put a tourniquet on, and it was just really cool. I know that in Salem they offer them like quarterly, it seems like, but you can go on stopthebleed.org and search your area for like one within however many miles of you. I know in Oregon and like the Willamette Valley there are a couple in Eugene, and then there is one in Albany. The one that I took was free. I think most of them are free. I am curious because there are a couple that were listed with like a cost associated. I'm curious if those ones they give you a tourniquet. All this to say, really cool class. Really glad that I took it. It was not difficult, and I feel more confident going into protests and other situations where there is a potential, also, you know, life-threatening bleeding, car crash, like accident while camping, accident in your home of something really crazy going on. It's just good information to have. It wasn't scary, and I'm kind of a queasy person, and I was okay. They did have a thing that simulated like bleeding, and that was, as I was doing it, the nurse who was helping me is like squeezing the bleed thing, and I'm like, God, oh my God, God. And she was like, okay, suck it up. because you wouldn't be that way when you're in shock when there's an emergency happening. But anyway, me and my friend Kim, who does Indivisible stuff with me, we planned a protest at our local enterprise. There is allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly. The reason I'm saying the word allegedly is because there is not like a publicly documented, like Enterprise hasn't come out, DHS hasn't come out. And for whatever reason, we know about the ones with like Palantir and FedEx and like whatever. I don't know why we know for sure about those, but there isn't like a public record in the same way of a contract with Enterprise. But allegedly, people who work for Enterprise are like, no, there's definitely one. Allegedly. I don't want to get sued. I don't have the resources to get sued by Enterprise, so I'm going to err on the side of caution. But regardless, me and my friend Kim organized a protest at our local Enterprise that gets like a good amount of people driving past. I think when it comes to protests that are trying to like raise awareness and put social pressure on particularly a company, I think that even with just like a few people, they can be really productive, because then it's like the folks driving past are like, oh my God, is that true? And then you can Google and you can find out and whatever. So anyway, Kim's doing another one on February 13th. They might end up becoming weekly. I cannot go to another weekly thing. I had my Indivisible events meeting this week that I went to. It's every week. It's every Tuesday. I made my mom come. That was really fun. Really fun, I say. We are planning a vigil for the murdered and disappeared folks who have been taken by ICE. You know, there's a lot happening. I also protested at the Capitol. Completely forgot about that. That's also something I did. There's a lot of ways to get involved. Oh, I watched a YouTube live stream of, it wasn't like a Know Your Rights, it was like a ICE Watch thing that the big Indivisible team did. They also talked specifically about the like Adopt a Corner program, which I need to look more into. But it's basically, the premise is it's the day laborers union, and they are asking folks to, with wherever there are day laborers in your community, like essentially like be there and be present with them, because just like the presence of other people can like keeps them safe, and the documentation and, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, really just like incredibly apocalyptic times that we're living in. This video, as I was filming it, I was trying to give myself the like time and space of like creating something and like only focus on that while that was going on, because you can't just like hyperventilate and stare at your phone all day long, and you really shouldn't. I got into an unhinged argument with someone who was commenting on the Indivisible stuff, saying like, you guys aren't doing enough. And I think at this time where everything feels so stressful, and I would just ask folks, if you are seeing a group that is trying to do something, and you see them do something and you're like, oh, that's stupid, you should be doing this instead. Like, I would say maybe lead with more curiosity. The way that social media works, it's pushing things towards you that are gonna make you furious. That's how the algorithms work, is they're trying to piss you off so that you stay on your phone and then you don't leave your phone because you're like engaging and being upset. It's very likely, particularly if it's like a local Indivisible group or something else, that if you feel like they're not doing enough, it's very likely that they are not documenting every single thing that they're doing, because for so many of us who are content creators, like even the content creation, even if like I am like a social media person for Indivisible, that still, it has to take a lower priority in terms of like the horrors that are ongoing and things that need to be dealt with. Like, I'm the social media person, and like that, it can't be that social media is highest priority for me, because there are so many things that are going on. Now, if people weren't being kidnapped and murdered off the streets, then maybe it would be a different conversation we would be having. But, and also a lot of the things that are being done when you're posting something on social media, particularly as a like grassroots organization who is trying to make change, you have to think like, what is the reasoning behind this and who is the audience of this content, right? So like, it's not going to behoove us every time there's like an agitator who is stressful at a protest that we went to that we're not even organizing, to be like, sorry everybody about this guy that really sucks. That's just gonna make people not want to show up to the next one. Does that make sense? It's a weird job. It's a weird time. If you're in Salem, on like a much lighter note, Circular Salem's doing a seed swap, a plant, garden, seed, and book swap, actually, at the Unitarian Universalist Church, February 21st. So that'll be really fun. And also, if you're local in Salem and you want to come to Riot Art, which is our like monthly thing that we do, it's like an art project thing through Indivisible, let me know. Probably email me would be the best way to ask for that information about location. It's BHOEVEM@gmail.com if you ever need contact. Yeah, you know, I daydream of a future where my child is like 16 years old and has to write a 10-paragraph essay about this insane moment in United States history and ask me these questions, and it's like, oh my God, this was happening like while I was a toddler. That must have been a lot. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. If you're not aware, the next No Kings has been announced. It is March 28th. Yeah, I would just say if you were seeing an organizing group in your area and you're like, God, the such and such whatever is just not doing enough to fight back against fascism. I wish that they were doing XYZ. Go talk to them. Go get coffee with them and chat with them and say like, here are some ideas that I have. Or, hey, are you guys doing ba 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 ba? Because likely they are doing those things that you're suggesting. And two, if they're not, then like help them out instead of taking up their time and energy by messaging them on Instagram and being like, by the way, you suck. I love my job, genuinely. And I appreciate you all for being here so much. I am so hopeful and excited for the midterms. I know that if you are under 45 years old, you're so sick of hearing, like, make sure that you're registered to vote. You really should be voting. And what I want to say about that specifically is, if voting didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying so hard to make sure that you can't do it. Particularly if you are like in the under 50 age group. If you have moved, check your voter registration. Make sure that you are registered to vote. If you're in Oregon, if we do mail-in voting, make sure that it is to your correct address or to an address that you are able to access. If you need to request a special ballot for whatever reason, do that also. And then, yeah, just like I know that there are people who are like, it doesn't matter who you vote for president. Okay, I don't care, actually. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about my mayor. My mayor, who I hate so much, who talks about homeless people in such a derogatory way, who says that they are firebombing the bathrooms. This like deeply unhinged woman who the Salem Chamber of Commerce paid like $300,000 into her mayoral campaign, more money than that's ever been spent on a mayoral campaign before, so that she could be this figurehead of stupidity and idiocy. And there's a letter from, I don't even remember who it was, some Oregon official, somebody who had all of the mayors sign being like, get ICE out of here, this is insane. And my mayor didn't sign. My mayor didn't sign because she's evil and she sucks. And she thinks that she's an ally because she went on a mission to Mexico in 2005. And so she's like, I stand with our immigrant communities, but she won't listen. It's okay. Local change is relevant and important and can be affected. Your county commissioner, you should also be voting for those folks. You look up like the whatever voters guide in your area, find your like Working Families Party or Indivisible or whoever. And when it comes to the midterms and the local elections, sometimes they're trying to be sneaky. I know literally specifically in Salem, we have the conservative folks who are running. They have picked people to run who have the last names, it's like Martinez, and I think the other one's Vega. And these are folks who are backed by Marion Polk First, which is the like right-wing conservative whatever pack in Salem. These are, Manny Martinez has been at city council saying that we should jail homeless people almost every week, almost every Monday, he is taking time out of his day to say that we should be incarcerating homeless people for being homeless because he is someone who was formerly an addict. And so he's like, they're all addicts and they just need to go to jail. Which, by the way, anyway, the private prison. Thank you for being here. Your voice and your opinion and your help, you as a helper, matter to your community so much. It is so crucial that you are here. And it is crucial that you take care of yourself and then you help take care of others. Find your people, find your community organizers, ask them what they need. We do not need to build things from the ground up right now unless it's somebody who's been community organizing for the past 20 years. Talk to those folks. Ask how you can help, ask how you can get involved. I believe in you. You can do it. Thank you for being here again. It's going to be okay.